Okay, let's do these other two. We're going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide those as well. I like to use this kind of organizer just so you can see the difference in the processes, the difference between adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, certain types of numbers. Okay, so anyway, adding, we love that part. We just simply write them down beside each other and add the real parts. 4i, we could think of it as 0 plus 4i, so the only real part is 2. Negative I plus 4i is 3i. If I'm going to subtract them, I'm going to get 2 minus 5i. Okay, so adding and subtracting is really just combining like terms. Of course, be careful when you subtract that you distribute the negative through if necessary. Okay? Let's go down to multiplying. We have 2 minus I times 4i. So this time it's really just a matter of distributing because I don't have to FOIL. I only have one term here, 4i. So it looks like I get 8i minus 4i squared. Remembering, of course, that I squared, anytime we have an I squared, we replace it with a negative 1. So I have 8i plus 4, which I would write as 4 plus 8i, just to be in the right a plus bi form. We usually like our real part and then our imaginary part. To divide them, 2 minus I divided by 4i, we don't really need a conjugate this time because we don't have two terms down here. Okay, to get rid of just an I, we're going to multiply by I over I. That will give me, of course I'll have to distribute up top, 2i minus I squared over 4i squared. And then all these I squareds turn to negative 1. 2i minus negative 1 is the same as plus 1, and 4 times I squared is negative 1, so 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Again, we have our I term first and then our number. Just for proper form, I might write 1 plus 2i over negative 4. And then if they really want a plus bi form, I might separate this as negative 1/4 minus a half I. Negative 1/4 minus a half I. Okay? Half because it was 2/4, of course. Okay? So, let's go with the negative 1/4 minus a half I. There you go. Here's where the negative 1/4 came from. Plus 2 over negative 4i. Well, 2 over negative 4 is negative a half. Okay? All right, so those examples should help you through some of the homework. Simplifying, guys, isn't any different from how you simplify radicals in geometry or honors algebra 2. I'm not sure you could do it in both places. Square root of 8, I would make 2 root 2. Well, this is the square root of negative 8. So I'm basically, I don't have to write out all these steps every time, or you don't, but just so you understand what we're doing. We're thinking of 8 as negative 1 times 4 times 2. Isn't that still negative 8? I'm thinking of the square root of negative 18 as negative 1 times 9 times 2. Could I think of 18 as 6 times 3? Sure. But can you take the square root of 6? No. Can you take the square root of 3? No. So pick the things that you can take the square root of to write those factors. I'm going to just separate this further. This is square root of negative 1 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Okay, that's the square root of all these. Square root of negative 1 times the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. Square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of 4 is 2. And square root of 2 I can't do anything with. Square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of 9 is 3. And then square root of 2 I can't do anything with. I don't need all these time symbols. I'm just going to write 2i squared roots of 2 plus 3i squared roots of 2. Now, every once in a while, they might factor that square root of 2 out. okay, and call it, 2i plus 3i, I have 5i square roots of 2. Okay, I don't really think of it as factoring out as much as combining like terms, but sometimes people will factor the square root of 2 out to see that they have 2i plus 3i, and then they realize, oh, that's just 5i times the square root of 2. Maybe you noticed that you had 2i square roots of 2 plus 3i square roots of 2, that's 5i square roots of 2. Okay? Here, I'm going to simplify this first term. 27 is 9 times 3. And of course, we have the square root of negative 1 here. Square root of 9 is 3. So this is 3i squared roots of 3 times, well, I'm just going to write that as 3. And I'm going to write this. The only thing I can take out is the I. Okay, that's square root of negative 1 times square root of 2. Square root of negative 1 is I. Now I'll FOIL this, and I get 9i squared roots of 3 minus 3i squared roots of 2. Right? When I take 3i times I squared roots of 2, I get 3i squared roots of 2. 9i squared roots of 3, pretty much done with that. I squared is negative 1, isn't it? So I have minus 3 times negative 1. That's really just plus 3. So I'm going to write this term first. It's 3 squared roots of 2 plus 9i squared roots of 3, just so I have my real part and my imaginary part in the right order. Okay, so this becomes a positive 3 because I squared is negative 1. Minus 3 times negative 1, 3 squared roots of 2. Okay, and then plus this term, 9i squared roots of 3. All right, so those are some simplifying that you can do. The homework that I'd like you to try is out of your book for this part. Okay, let me get it in here so you can, I think it's on Schoology anyway, but I'm sorry to be all over the place. I'm trying not to have you do more than you have to. I feel like if you do 5 to 12 on page 71, try numbers 13 and 15, and then do 19 to 27 odd, 31, 33, then do 55 to 77 odd, and 87 to 93 odd. Lots of odds, so you can check those answers before you come see me, okay? And I will gladly help you with any of the ones that you can't figure out, whoops, why did I get the wrong answer? All right, guys, great work. I will see you in class soon. Bye-bye.